Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you are new here. My name is Bobby, and today we are going to get into some messy relationship drama on Reddit. Now, before we begin, I just want to preface that some of these topics can be kind of heavy. So proceed with caution. I will read the titles ahead of time so that you can decide for yourself whether you want to continue listening to that story. There are timestamps in the description box below if you want to skip forward to the next story. I also wanted to mention that my email is in the description box below as well. If you feel like sending me your stories and or any messages or reactions, please feel free to do so. Or you can just go ahead and comment on the video down below. Please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and let's get right into these messy relationship Reddit stories. Posted in r/am I overreacting by user hidden_here123. I'm ending my 4-year relationship. So basically the title, he, 33 male, says I'm 32 female, throwing away a 4-year relationship over a mistake he made. To keep it short, on 4 different occasions over the last 2.5 years, he's gone drinking and come home to throw a drunken tantrum because I said the wrong thing. Something happened at the bar, or I put my foot down because he's drunk and yelling at me in front of our friends at the bar. Twice I had to leave to my sister's house because he was going around our small apartment, slamming doors and banging his head on the walls. I've had to wake him up several times because he falls asleep on the toilet or on the bathroom floor, and he's had to sleep in his car because of his outbursts. On the second time this happened, he gave me his word that he would be more responsible with his drinking and that he wouldn't have any more outbursts. He said he was going to drink waters between each beer or have sodas and bar food and just one beer. The third time, I made it clear that him going back on his word was unacceptable because it shows that he doesn't care, that he becomes emotionally and verbally abusive towards me. I told him I was tired of his apologies if he's going to keep doing the same thing. Between all these times, he has continued to get drunk on the weekends, but I've kept my mouth shut to avoid him having an outburst, and things were relatively okay. The last time he went and got drunk at the bar, didn't eat anything, refused the water my sister offered him because she's aware of the agreement we had. And when I arrived, he yelled at me because he was too drunk to keep track of what team he was on, and he misunderstood me when I told him and he made the wrong shot. We went to get food from a local taco spot and he couldn't even stand because he was so drunk. I had to pull over on the freeway because he needed to throw up. And when we got home, he fell asleep in the bathroom and I had to wake him 3 times. I kept my anger about the situation to myself because the sadness of feeling like I needed to leave him because he's just not willing to change was overwhelming. The next morning, he could tell something was up and he asked if I was okay. I said that I wasn't ready to talk, but he insisted. So I told him that he went back on his word again about drinking responsibly and that I realized that the only way I was going to avoid his verbal abuse was if I just kept quiet. I told him what I told my ex when I was thinking about leaving. It's not anything I haven't already told you. He left it at that in the morning, and at night I was crying because I was upset that 4 years of my life were going down the drain. And I just folded and asked him why I wasn't good enough for him to want to do better. Then he started to say that I had fault in our relationship ending, ignoring that the only reason I'm leaving is because I can't keep giving him chances to verbally abuse me when he's drunk and angry. I reminded him that he had given me his word and that he had gone back on it twice. He seemed to understand, but the next day he just kept saying that he deserves to, quote, unwind on the weekends because he works all week to provide for us. Not like I have a job and I'm constantly sending him money because he overspends and his account will overdraft when the phone or internet bill charges his account. I was getting whiplash from how quickly he was going from being apologetic about going back on his word and him insisting that I'm being unreasonable and unfair. I slept at my sister's house again because I couldn't keep dealing with it. And I was just really emotionally exhausted from all of it. Now, he posted on his Facebook that I'm throwing away 40,000 hours of our lives together for 12 bad hours. So I'm asking, am I overreacting? This hits a little close to home for me because I have had somebody with a drinking problem that I was in a relationship for several years, and it did eventually lead to me having to leave that person because while this person did not get violent with me, he was just an empty, blank vessel when he was drunk. Super happy with everybody else and just a complete emotionless robot with me. And there's nothing I could do or say would get him to even consider not doing the things he was doing. So I do understand where this OP is coming from. That being said, you're not overreacting, OP. Seriously, this guy has an issue, and until he is willing to get help for his issue, there's nothing you can do. Let's see what the comments say. Not so religious now says, girl, you stayed far longer than I would have. No, you're not overreacting. He's an alcoholic, whether he wants to admit it or not. He's abusive and frankly sounds like a complete loser. Cut your losses and walk away. You'll find someone better and worthier of your time and affection. I agree with that. You don't need to go through life searching for somebody better and to be worthy of your time and affection. But if that's what you want, that's what you will get eventually. In my situation, that was the last person I was ever in a relationship with, and that's been 9 years now, and I've stayed single and it's been the best decision of my life. But not everybody is me, and I understand that. And if you want to find somebody better and worthier of your time, you definitely will. A lot of other people are saying this in the comment. Yes, he's an addict. He's gaslighting you. He is not wanting to change, and you can't change him until he wants to change. And I mean, that's the general consensus. I feel like we have all seen or dealt with something similar to this in their lives. So, OP, you're not overreacting. Please take care of yourself and don't put up with this shit. Posted an r/, am I the asshole by user cheating brother invite. Am I the asshole for causing my ex sister in law to have a meltdown because I invited my brother and his family to my house? Throwaway account. This is a very long emotional story. 4 years ago, my 27 female brother, 30 male, admitted to my ex sister in law, 30 female, that he had been cheating on her, got his girlfriend, 28 female, pregnant, and that he wanted to divorce her. The entire family disowned my brother and provided our ex sister in law with emotional and financial support throughout the whole thing, as we should. My brother married the woman he cheated with. They now have 3 kids together, a son, 3 male, and twin daughters, both 1 female, and are happily married. As mentioned before, the entire family disowned my brother and we didn't hear from him for 3.5 years. He reached out to my mom, who is very religious and hates adultery, 6 months ago and asked for reconciliation. My mom didn't want to talk to my brother all that much. She just wanted to meet her grandkids. Meeting her grandkids softened her attitude towards my brother. Soon, the entire family regained contact with him. My ex sister in law remained friends with my sister, and she freaked out when she heard about this. As a result, we only talked to my brother over the phone. The more I talked to my brother and his wife over the phone, the more I became friends with his wife. We would spend hours on the phone talking to each other about whatever random bullshit came to our minds. We made each other laugh. It was great. It was because of this friendship that I decided to finally invite my brother and my new friend to my house for my son's birthday party yesterday. It seemed like the perfect time to do so. What I didn't count on was my ex sister in law coming to the party. I had spoken to her a few days before, and she said she wasn't sure if she was coming or not. Leading up to yesterday, she hadn't said anything, so I went ahead and invited my brother and his family. When my ex sister in law showed up, it was a shit show. She yelled at my brother, who was just standing there in shock. And when my ex sister in law realized who the woman next to my brother is, she let out, quote, "Stop looking at me, you Jewish whore." My brother's wife is half Jewish. I had tried to calm her down and talk to my ex sister in law, but at this point I yelled at her to get the fuck out of my house. She did, and we all just pretended this never happened. However, at the end of the party, my sister, who's still friends with my ex sister in law, told me that I should have told my ex sister in law my brother and his wife were invited. It would have influenced her decision to come or not. Not doing so made me an ass. I explained that she didn't make it clear if she was coming and that I only kicked her out after she made a blatantly racist comment. My sister is still pissed off about it, and she left soon after. Am I the asshole? OP, you're not the asshole for being friends with your new sister in law, but you kind of are an asshole for not letting your ex sister in law know that your brother would be showing up at the party. You definitely should have at least texted her and be like, yo, my brother is coming. So if you don't want to come, I get it. So you fucked up. I don't think you're an asshole as a person. I just think you fucked up. Trevina underscore ice says, you're the asshole for not giving your ex sister in law a heads up. She wasn't sure if she would come, so it was not a no. You should have told her. Everything else, not the asshole. What your brother did to your ex sister in law was shitty, yes, but she can't expect you all to cut your brother slash son and your grandchildren slash nibblings out of your life forever because of that. That's what I'm saying. Also, I hate nibblings. Like, I hate the word nibblings. I don't, it just feels weird coming out of my mouth. I hate it. Wild Wild World 1 says, I disagree. It's quite rude to let the host hanging unless the host explicitly tells you you can come last moment. She wasn't graceful to the host. The host made other provisions. And generally, not RSVPing means no. Okay, that's true, but it's not a wedding. It's not a big event. It's literally just a kid's birthday party. People come and go randomly during kids' birthday parties. I'm going to add here that the anti Semitic remark that the ex sister in law made is that's wild. How do you just go? How do you just come to a child's birthday party and start making anti Semitic remarks to somebody there? That's bananas to me and it's unacceptable. So I will say that be friends with her if you want, but that's nuts. She's probably not even really anti Semitic. She's probably just using it as something to try to hurt this person. Definitely uncalled for. The whole, like you said, OP, the whole thing was a shit show. Again, you should have at least sent her a text that your brother and his family were going to be there so she could opt out. Who knows? Maybe she would have opted out. Maybe she would have showed up and still caused a scene, but at least then it wouldn't have been on you. Posted in r/AITAH by user Girly Polka Dot. Am I the asshole for divorcing my husband because he can't accept that I was with another guy before him? So I, 27 female, am married to my husband, Spencer, 28 male, for 2 years, but we've been together for 6 years in total. We don't have kids, and I've known Spencer since elementary school. We've had a very loving relationship from the beginning, but now he is destroying it with his insecurity after discovering I was with another guy before him. So he knows I'm bisexual. I had dated girls most of high school until graduation when I slept with my best friend's cousin, Thomas. He was 16 and I was 18 when we slept together. That's a red flag right there, guys. I'm sorry to cut in, but he was 16 and you were 18. I know it's not a huge gap, but you're 18 and yikes. Okay, let's keep going. He was the only guy I was with. We dated a bit, but it didn't go anywhere. Yeah, because he was a child. I did date my last ex girlfriend from 18 to 20 in college. We broke up, and then I got with Spencer. We have been together since. Spencer knew I dated girls in high school and in college, but we really never talked about our past relationships and flings. But Spencer slept with half the girls I know in high school and slept with many in college. The thing with me is, I don't care about past relationships. It doesn't bother me. I'm not a jealous person. Spencer didn't show any signs at all of being jealous. When Spencer and I went to go see our friends, Maven, my best friend, was there. We were at Spencer's best friend's house. We were all drinking. It was fun. We watched, some movies and the topic of hookups came up. Everyone was talking about body counts and past relationships. Spencer did talk about how many girls he slept with to his best friend, Ace. Then he boasted about how he was the only guy that I had ever slept with. Maven cut him off and told him, while giggling, "You mean second." Spencer was confused and asked me if it was true and with who. I did say yes, and with Thomas. He just got quiet after that. The whole time we were there, he wasn't interacting with anyone that much. He was only on his phone. I did try talking to him, but he either didn't hear me or just said one word answers. When we got home, he snapped at me and told me I was a whore for letting a guy touch me, how he thought he was the only one. I just started crying. I told him that we never talked about our past relationships that much. It was even before we got together. He was dating another girl when I even got with Thomas. That was years ago. Why is he mad about it now? He proceeded to call me so many names and how it was gross. Asked if he was better. I just didn't answer him and went to our room and locked it. He slept on the couch and did tell me the next day he was sorry and he was just drunk. I forgave him. I thought we were over it, but when we do have sex or do anything romantically or sexually now, he'll always ask if Thomas was better for everything. It's getting tiring. So I told him to stop asking me, and I reassured him that he was the best thing to happen to me. He did stop, and things went back to normal until I got a text and screenshots from Thomas, who I haven't spoken to in years. The last time we spoke, it was when we broke up. I was confused and saw the screenshots of my husband threatening Thomas, saying he was going to kill him, that he wished he was dead. Everything was just awful. Now, Thomas is married and has kids, so I'm not sure where Spencer thinks he's going to get out of Thomas. I did apologize to Thomas and I told him I had no idea this was happening. But Thomas told me to keep my husband on a leash and proceeded to block me. I was furious and I confronted Spencer. We got into a huge argument. I told him I was divorcing him. He started crying and begged me not to go, but I left and I'm staying with one of my girlfriends. I'm done with his bullshit. His friends are harassing me and calling me a whore and a liar. His family is asking me to come back, but I just can't. He's put so much stress on me over something that had nothing to do with him, years before we even got together. Am I the asshole if I proceed with the divorce? Edit. To everyone thinking I was a virgin and lost it to Thomas, no. I lost my virginity to my first girlfriend in high school. Thomas was a virgin, not me. So sorry if I got everyone confused. The top comment, trying to be helpful here, says, yeah, this guy sounds unstable. And I have to agree, this is highly problematic and definitely a giant red flag. If he gets away with this, who knows what he's going to do to you in the future? Shadow underscore wolf 82 says, are we sure his friends are getting the full story or even a remotely accurate one? I'm almost positive his explanation didn't include. So I got obsessively insecure that she'd slept with another man years before we got together and started calling her a whore despite clearly being an absolute man whore myself. This should have been her first clue as to how I really view all the women I slept with. Then I wouldn't let it go constantly harassing and haranguing her until she was forced to beg me to stop. Then, once I couldn't take my insecurities out on her anymore, I actively sought out her ex like some kind of demented stalker and sent him death threats because I have some serious issues that only therapy can untangle. Bet they didn't get that story. Function Aggressive 75 says, of course they haven't been told the truth. This is a given in all these posts. The problem is that whatever version they were told, no one has the right to harass someone. Illegal, disgusting, and frightening, especially if we are talking about a woman being harassed by men. And then Nippelritter says, yeah, I don't get these comments. How does that matter in the slightest? And true, yes, OP is being harassed, which is terrible, but that's not the main crux of the story. It's important because nobody deserves to be harassed, but the main crux of the story and OP's question is about whether or not this person should get divorced because of what her husband is doing to her. And I say yes. I say definitely you should get divorced because, and I've already mentioned this, who knows how this might escalate if you let it go. Originally posted in r slash AITAH, cross posted in r slash best of Reddit updates by user Shark Eva or Eva. Am I the asshole for wanting to break up with my girlfriend after her ex's funeral? So, my girlfriend and I have been together about 4 years. She used to be close with her ex. However, he tried to make a move on her while she and I were together. So, she cut off their friendship. They knew each other for about 10 years. They were high school sweethearts and stayed together throughout college. They broke up because he did not want kids. He died recently, and my girlfriend was invited to the funeral. While I wasn't happy to see my girlfriend cry about this guy, I swallowed my emotions and offered my full support. She asked me to come with her. Here's where things get messy. She kept talking about how she wishes they never broke up in the first place and that she's never met someone who she loved as much as him. She made a speech about how she says that if things had been different, they'd be a happy family with children. I had to force myself not to say anything then. Now we're back home and she hasn't said anything about what she said. I'm so close to just leaving, but I don't know if she only said that out of grief. Okay, there is two updates. Let's go ahead and read the first one. It's been a stressful couple of days, and my post got a lot more attention than I expected. It was overwhelming, to be honest. It's been a week since the funeral itself, and I've been talking to some friends as well as reading comments on my last post. Truth be told, I've been hesitant to talk about this to my girlfriend because she's still just been really depressed. She's not talking to me at all, and I've been taking care of everything around our place. She's just been laying in our bed. I've tried to talk to her, but she just shuts me out. I've been reflecting on our past relationship and realized a couple things. My girlfriend was never as passionate with me as she was with her ex. She never did anything as romantic or thoughtful for me when compared to her ex. For example, she's never gone traveling for more than 3 days with me, but she traveled often with her ex, sometimes for years. It's not like I haven't offered. I was told to simply get over it and that each relationship is different. And people say shit like, if she wanted to be with her ex, she would be. Something also to note is that some of you actually pointed my attention to another post, one that's about a girl going to her ex's funeral. I read the post and I don't know if it's actually my girlfriend or not. Some details are different, like our age. We're both 30. Also, I never said anything about breaking up with her for going to the funeral. I wasn't exactly happy to see her mourn the guy who wanted to sleep with her while she was with me, but I didn't actually say anything. Now, that post admitted that she actually cheated. I thought about this for a second, but it doesn't matter. Because if she cheated or not, I already broke up with her. I did have a talk with her. She refused at first by not responding to me, but when I told her I was leaving, she finally said something to me. I basically told her that I feel like crap ever since she said those things at the funeral. How I feel like she would rather be with her ex than me, that I felt like her second choice. She started to yell at me, calling me selfish, and that she's lost one of the most important people in her life, and I shouldn't make this about me. I was too tired to try to yell back, and my things were already packed up. I'm staying with my parents for a while. Our lease doesn't expire for a few months, so I don't know what she's planning to do. I don't know what to do now. I thought I was going to marry this girl someday and have kids, but she wanted someone else all this time. Okay, I'm going to read a couple comments on this first update before we get into the second update. So Ricky Descardo says, quotes, calling me selfish and that she's lost one of the most important people in her life and I shouldn't make this about me. In response, here's the thing. She didn't lose one of the most important people in her life. She made it clear that she lost the most important person in her life. From the other post, quote, she kept talking about how she wishes they never broke up in the first place and that she's never met someone who she loved as much as him. She made a speech about how she says that if things had been different, they'd be a happy family with children. and responds, I don't know what other conclusion to read from this. I could certainly see feeling sad or down when an ex that you've known for a significant part of your life passes away. But that's not only what occurred. She wishes that they never broke up. She's never met someone who loved her as much as he did. And if things had been different, they would still be together. In each of those thoughts, you are at best second place. Never includes you. She is with you because they broke up. She doesn't think you can ever love her as much as he did. And if things were different with him, she would not be with you. Is she mourning him and the significance he had in her life? Or is she mourning someone she still loved and mourning the loss of the opportunity to still be with him? You're not selfish and you do not want to be with someone where you will always be a placeholder. That's kind of heartbreaking. Let's go to the final. Oh, it's not the final update. There are two more updates. Holy moly. Okay, let's get into this one. I got a lot of support from this subreddit last time, and I appreciate it. By the way, the original poster is user visual lifeguard 8937. I got a lot of support from this subreddit last time and I appreciate it. So I figured I should update you all. It's the day before Valentine's, and I actually had planned something for my girlfriend before this whole mess started. I can't help but to think of her. Our shared friend group didn't side against me. They've been supportive to both of us, it seems. I've explained to them why we broke up, and they were all pretty understanding. My friend and his girlfriend are friends with both of us, and I've asked them about my ex. Apparently, she hasn't been doing well. She's back to work. She took like 2 weeks off of work. But besides that, she hasn't been out of the apartment. She hasn't tried to reach me, and I haven't tried to reach her. Our lease expires next month, so I don't know what she's planning to do. She could afford the rent on her own, but she'd be scraping by. I've been tempted to reach out. I hated breaking up, but I hate even more how we broke up. It feels like I left her behind when she needs me the most. If she reacted to like this to anyone else, I'd be there for her, no questions asked. But I know better. I know I'd be resentful because she still wants her ex over me. I want to thank everyone for the support last time, and I guess this is just me venting. STL Simply 1400 says, Stay strong, King. You did the right thing. Life Midscore Yogurt Closet Midscore 98 says the fact she didn't reach out means everything she said was not limerence. I don't know what limerence means. I'm going to Google it really quick. Limerence is a state of involuntary obsession with another person. Okay, that makes sense. She understood what she did and how she did it, and now she knows she hurt you and has to stew in that a while. She also knows she meant every word she said. The only person you need to check in on is yourself, OP, because you're also grieving a loss. It's fine to take time, but never allow yourself to be seen as plan B. Rude Red Dog 1 says, Stop worrying about how she's doing. You were never as important to her as he was. She settled for you. Focus on your happiness now. That's pretty succinct. Let's check on the final update, which just dropped a couple days ago. She finally reached out. I came back from work, back to my folks' place, and she was there. My mom let her wait for me. While I'm upset with my mom for letting her in and not giving me a heads up, that's another issue. When I came back, my mom went to the store to give us some privacy. I was a mess inside, but I held it in. She asked how I was and what I've been up to, and we talked as if we were just catching up. I finally asked what exactly she wanted. She said she's sorry for what she did and regrets how things ended between us. She went on to say that she did genuinely love me and she did want to start a family, but the sudden death of her ex simply hit her too hard. She says she's sorry for what she said and that she didn't mean them. I didn't say anything and was just trying to process what was going on. She didn't actually ask me to get back together. I told her that no matter what she said now, I can't forget what she said at the funeral and how she acted afterwards. She said she understood and just wanted to talk to me. I told her that I don't think we can be friends and that I don't hate her, but I just don't want to be near her. She left and I was a wreck. She seems to be okay. She looked healthier than the last time I saw her. I'm actually moving out from my folks' place, and I'm not going to tell her. I'm going to make sure my parents don't say anything. I hope that was the last time I see her, at least for a long while. Oh, and one quick thing I wanted to mention. My name is off the lease at our old place. The landlady was very understanding. I figured I should mention that because lots of you told me about that. Fit underscore reason 7319 says, not the asshole. It sounds like you handled it well enough. You would have always known you were just second best. The next guy will be as well. Move on and live your best life. Find someone who makes you their number one. Best of luck. And that's pretty much the general consensus throughout the comments section. Not the asshole. This was the best outcome you could have achieved. Your ex girlfriend is still lying to herself. In her mind, she didn't do anything wrong. She's already moving on. She came back to tell you she's decided it was just one of those wacky things. I don't know about that. She probably just wanted quote unquote closure. Who knows? Somebody else was like, you were always just her Mr. Right Now. Nerd as a verb says, don't tell your mom your new address. That was not okay what she did, betraying you and ambushing you and replacing her judgment for your own. That was not her supporting you. That was her telling you she thinks she knows better and that you are wrong. Dick move of your ex to ambush you as well. That was selfish, mean thing to do. Screw her, dude. Dodged a bullet. All right, nerd as a verb was kind of harsh there, but I think the sentiment was not altogether wrong. Your mom should have at least, I mean, this is 2024. We have text messaging. She could have at least texted you and been like, hey, just a heads up, your ex is here and she wants to talk to you. What do you want me to do? Let me know what you think about this. This was quite the saga, and I feel for the OP because nobody ever wants to be somebody's second choice. Nobody wants to be the person who somebody else settles for. That's gut wrenching. OP, I wish you the best and take the time you need to get yourself back to where you think you can maintain a healthy relationship in the future with somebody who is not your ex. Posted in r/am I overreacting by user Ryan Neck. I told my friend I don't want to be around her husband anymore, and now it has ruined our friendship. I, 32 female, have had this friend, 29 female, of 8+ years, and she has had the same partner, 33 male, throughout our entire friendship. I have had several uncomfortable and inappropriate interactions with her husband, and so have other women within our group of friends. Some examples are getting drunk, telling us how hot we are, making comments such as, if I wasn't with my current wife, I would be all up on you. All of us are either married or in committed relationships. Confessing his feelings towards another friend on more than one occasion, getting caught by his wife jerking off to my sister's adult content Twitter posts, telling our group of friends when his wife is out of town for business that he's not getting enough attention, and then explaining that he could get, quote, anyone, and how good looking he is. Only texts me and my girlfriends when his wife is out of town to hang out, but never tries to hang out with us when she is here. Not only all of these inappropriate behaviors, he is also insufferable to be around because he is one of those people who talks at you, asks you nothing about yourself, and rattles off all the things going on in their life in a bragging manner and tries constantly to one up you. And this especially happens with other men, such as our partners. Oh, and not to mention several years ago, before I knew this friend of mine, another friend of mine of 14 years, when we were in high school at a party, this man, my current friend's husband, was trying to coerce her into having sex with him and locking her in a bathroom and not letting her leave until she finally screamed for someone to come to her, and that is when he stopped. The list continues, but this is already getting ridiculously long, lol. We thought because it had been several years later and we adore and love our friend and wanted to give her husband the benefit of the doubt, that he has improved as a person, but his current actions have displayed inappropriate, predatory behaviors. One night, while his wife was out of town during the Super Bowl, there was a party and he had confessed his love once again to one of our friends. Started an argument with me for not wanting to go to some music event while his wife was out of town with him a few days prior, speaking terribly of his wife, saying they're getting divorced, trying to get everyone to go to the strip club with him and not to tell his wife, and then making out with one of our take male gay friends when he was incoherently drunk. I don't know what that means. To say the least, this night was the final straw for me and several others within our friend group. I invited said friend over to my house to calmly and privately let her know how inappropriate and uncomfortable her husband's actions are, and that I personally am setting up a boundary that I will not tolerate his behavior any longer, and I'm choosing not to be around him anymore. Soon after this, a couple of other friends have made this decision as well. I knew full well how this could hurt and affect our friend and change future events to an extent. But we have put up with this husband's creepy behavior for years to protect our friendship. We've told her in the past that he's a creep, annoying, etc., but she always brushes it off, like, just tell him to fuck off, or, he just loves you. When this was brought to her attention in a serious manner, she just wasn't surprised, but ultimately didn't show much emotion, which made me confused. I chalked it up that is it is obviously something very tough to process. But as time has gone on and multiple conversations have come about, she spun the narrative back on us, saying things like, now that you've exiled him from our friend group, I am now exiled. Thinking this was some kind of ploy to get her to leave him, and how we could have possibly thought we could stay close after this. Also made comments such as, well, did he touch any of you guys? Everyone is treating him like he's a serial rapist. What you have said about him is very hurtful towards him and me. I absolutely understand that this is her partner of years and standing by their side in a hard situation, but I truly did not think that myself and my other friends standing up for ourselves and informing her of this behavior would have resulted in her not wanting us in her life anymore. I've always been her friend, not her husband's. I feel totally invalidated and hurt that someone I viewed as a lifelong friend can't see where I'm coming from. I've even said the best case scenario is if he works on his mental health, addresses and takes responsibility for his actions, and we can all spend some time together again one day comfortably. What should I do? Am I in the wrong in any type of way? Some time has passed, and I thought a few weeks to be able to process things would have hopefully given her insight to myself and the other women's reasoning behind this decision to not hang out with her husband, but her mindset is still in the same place. I'd like to go straight to the comments on this. Catch Me Right and Dirty says, your friend is not an idiot. She knows she's married to a straight up loser, but when you guys call it out, she's forced to confront that reality. And she doesn't like that because then it makes her feel like she has to do something about it. You really need to reevaluate this friendship and see if it's actually worth keeping. Because from what it sounds like, she's perfectly okay with putting her friends in uncomfortable situations only to gaslight them later when they express their very real concerns. That's not a real friend. And she should be exiled because she's enabling sexual harassment by not only staying with this asshole, but by bringing him around you. I say cut both loose and give it a year. With some space and some perspective, you'll probably find your life is better without them both. Midscore Nora, Midscore Adrenaline, Midscore says, just wait till said friend's dickhead husband starts pulling the shit on the group's teenage daughters. There's a reason dudes like this give women the ick. No underscore effective 2162 says he is 100% like that guy who groomed and has been having sex with his son's 18-year-old girlfriend. So nasty and so gross. Not sure if that's the same situation, but I get where you're coming from. No effective 2162. It doesn't look like there's been any responses from the OP, but this post is like 10 hours old at the time of recording this. So if I see any updates, I will add them. But right now, that's where we're going to leave it. I think that it's a difficult situation to be in because you do care about your friend, and it sucks because you would expect that your friend would be like, "Holy crap, I can't believe he's doing this stuff. This is terrible." And then take some sort of action, whether it be giving her husband an ultimatum, simply talking to him, getting him into therapy, or even leaving him, who knows? But most people, I think, would do one of those things at least. And instead, perhaps he has groomed her like that commenter said, because she is completely, seemingly blinded by this man and is completely taking her side. If somebody is going to take that person's side over their friends, then yeah, it's probably better that you don't have any contact with them for at least a while. And actually, you should probably wait for them to contact you because if they do, maybe that means that they have taken stock in the situation and done something about it. And if they don't, again, fuck them. I hate to say it like that, but these are grown adults. You can offer your support and offer your advice and care about them all you want, but you can't force them to fix the things that are wrong. And that is all the stories we have time for today. Some of those were kind of long and also kind of heavy. So I understand if you had to skip forward through some of them. But I am interested in hearing your reactions, comments, or even stories of your own in the comment section down below. Before we go, please make sure that you have subscribed to my channel and please drop a like on this video. Until next time, I will see you guys then. Bye.